Comair was founded by the Novik and Maritz families and operates the British Airways license in South Africa. It also, as you probably know, operates under the banner Kalula.com and has a market cap of around 665 million rand. Their most recent results were a disappointment, a headline loss per share of 4.9 cents. That's for the 6 months ended December 2011 from earnings of 10.3 cents per share a year earlier. The carrier said high fuel prices, a weak economic environment, and an increase in airport tariffs affected margins. Well, we've already got it summarized there. Those are the elements that plague the airline industry in South Africa, and potentially one more. It's an overcrowded trade.
Yeah, totally. You put your finger on it, Bronwyn. I can remember when this thing listed, and if memory serves me correctly, it was at £2.20 a share. And, you know, it's gone pretty much nowhere since then. I think it spiked to about £4 a few years ago. But the problem is, as you rightly say, it's at the mercy of oil prices particularly. Look, they're a very, very good airline. They've been going since 1946. They've never had a crash, as far as I'm aware, and they've never made a loss. They made a bit of a loss in this first half, but there was extraneous factors, I think, involving the sale of 3 aircraft. But having said that, I think it's a really quality operation, very innovative. They were the first to come in with a low-cost offering in the form of Kalula. It's one of
the share price hasn't gone anywhere.
That's the problem.
You can't get excited about it.
And that's where I have this problem with the company, because I love the company. I think they're a great operation, but from an investment perspective, they really haven't been great. And
look at that, R1.36 on Comair at the moment. Do you have an alternative story for the airline industry?
Look, the problem is there are 3 letters that are wrong with this business, and that's SAA. You know, they've got a big competitor flying the local routes who is not being run on normal financial disciplines, because they can make a loss, they can get into expensive leases with foreign suppliers, be they Boeing or Airbus, and it doesn't matter because the government just bails them out. So that's the first big problem. It's very, very hard to compete on an unequal playing field, because if SAA wasn't there overnight, you know, they would be probably the premier flight partner for most businesses and most premium customers.
But management teams know this before they take it on. They know the issues associated with South African Airways.
And look, to be fair,
and yet they still go ahead.
I mean, if you look at the market share that they've got today, it's far greater than it was when they first started. So they've eaten into SAA's market share in a big way. They've been very, very successful in taking market share away from SAA.
Can they continue to take market share from SAA?
Look, as Paul says, you know, SAA has got this virtually limitless funding. So it makes it difficult, particularly during times like this. You know, at the end of the day, it's not about making profits for SAA. It's about flying the flag. It's the national carrier. So therefore, it makes it, in times of high oil prices and low demand, it makes it very, very difficult for guys like Comair to actually make anything.
Very stressful at management and board meetings when you've got this
exactly.
elephant in the room.
And Bidvest now owns 20% of Comair, so that's begun to sort of shake things up a bit. That's why I think they're looking for management changes and some new strategy.
Well, Gidon Novik is out.
Gidon left, has gone to Discovery, although Eric Fent is a very competent guy and the board is still strong and so on. But I think they're going to bounce back. I mean, I still think this is a quality South African business. The problem is it's always better to be a customer of an airline than it is to be a shareholder, regrettably.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head, because I was going to say to you, it may be a good company and it's going to bounce back, but is the share price at any point going to bounce back? And, you know, it hasn't got very far to reach its previous highs.
Yeah, no, you're right. Look, it will bounce back, but, you know, the question is when. And I think it could take a bit of time. So if you've got a lot of patience, company's great, fantastic quality. As Paul said, and I think he's encapsulated it very well, better to be a customer than a shareholder, unfortunately.
Comair, hot or not?
Not hot.
Only if government were to kick it off the teat, SAA, would it be attractive. For now, not hot.
You can't put a caveat in there. Government is there, SAA is a player,
exactly,
so it's not hot.